Hey guys, Garo97 again. This time with a review of the Warhammer 44 scale high-grade build custom lightning back weapon system from the Gundam Build Fighter Strike series. Now, even though this is supposed to be a backpack, the first thing that really struck me about this thing is that it actually looks really good just on its own. This could very well be just a space fighter of its own right. I mean, it's got the thrusters on the back, the boosters, the wings. It just looks really cool just as a spacecraft. So for articulation that this thing has, these two extend to kind of form little forward swinging wings, or you can just fold them back in. The wings here go up and down, and when up, they look like the thing is in storage, like in the hangar right before takeoff. They fold out, and then the back wings also go in and out. Now, for accessories, you actually get two sets of weapons. You get two beam cannons, which will later just go on the lightning gun, but they will also go on here. There we go. And on that same spot, if you want, you can also put the missiles, and that's what you're going to use when you're putting them on the lightning gun, because as I said, these will later on go on the lightning Gundam, and then these simply put them in there. The cover goes on top. There we go. And they will also open up to reveal the little missiles. Once again, we get two of each. So this thing is nicely armed, but the really cool thing that really surprised me is there are two pegs down here. Normally, these would be used to attach the backpack to the Lightning Gundam in mobile armor mode. But what I found out is that it's actually perfect for mounting weapons on there. For example, the Agni here from the Launcher Striker pack is a perfect fit. Not only does it fit on there, it looks absolutely fantastic, just like it belongs on there. So I think that once I get the full burn-in pack, this thing is going to become a space fighter in its own right. And you can find so much more things that will fit on there. This is the beam rifle of the Zaku 3, fits on there, no problem. It's a bit fiddly, but hey, it goes on there. Just as many other weapons probably will if you're going to experiment a bit, especially with the new build custom range. I'm sure there will be a lot of shit that will actually fit underneath the lightning back weapon system. So that's definitely one of the major features of this little fighter. Also, the tail fin does go up and down. And Adam, before we go on with the mounting of this thing, I forgot to mention the stickers. The one I have applied is just the one that goes on here for, well, the cockpit. And furthermore, we have a gray one which should wrap around here, and then four yellow ones which go on here, 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 and here. But I don't know, the yellow ones, they probably stick out a bit too much, and well, the gray, I might apply that one later on. But now, in order to mount this thing on a mobile suit, of course, it's meant to go on the Lightning Gundam, but will also fit on any Striker Pack compatible mobile suit and a few others as well. Now, if I can just get this out, this here folds down. And then you pull it out, twist it, and it kind of locks into place. As you can see, there are pegs here, and that's where this is gonna go in. There we go. Now it's nice and secure. Fold them back. Fold down there we go. And now, as I said, you can mount it on any Striker Pack compatible mobile suit here. And both the beam cannons and the shield will also fit on the Strike Gundam. Now, keep in mind, they will not fit on all arms. Probably not on quite a bit of them because of the design. First of all, the beam cannons, of course. You can see they have this really annoying design here. So this peg isn't that long, and it's only because, well, the elbow of the strike is quite protruding. And on the shield, it's kind of a different story because, once again, the peg isn't that long, and the shield has these, well, these flaps on the side. So the shield fits on the strike's arm because the arm is thin enough to accommodate the shield. So keep that in mind if you want to go for the shield or the beam cannons. The backpack is definitely going to be less of a pain. And according to the manual, it will also fit on machines like the Double Zeta Gundam. Another thing that immediately comes to mind is the Gundam Mark II. And also the Gym and the Gundam, because you simply slide it in there. There we go. And it is quite back heavy, keep that in mind. And just to show with the beam cannons, this here isn't going to fit quite as well. You know, you can kind of get it in there at an angle. If you're cool with that, you know, go for it. But otherwise, it's not going to fit superbly on a lot of stuff. Keep up, come on. And another thing that we get in order to make some more fits is this part, which is designed to make the Wing Gundam and the Wing Zero compatible with the pack. So this clicks on there once you remove the original backpack, and then this just slides in there. It's at a bit of a distance and makes it quite back heavy, but if you want to do it, you can do it. And the one thing that intrigues me now is, will it be compatible with the AL Striker pack with that attachment? The answer is, unfortunately, not. You can't well, kinda. It's a very tight, it's a very close fit. Oh, there we go. Looks like the Wing Gundam is now compatible with the AL Striker pack. And it's not that horrible. But let's now hook it up to the machine it's designed for. The Lightning Gundam. So this goes in there. A closer fit than the other ones. And these beam cannons, they're supposed to go onto the top here, but I also found that they look pretty damn good when they're mounted on there. And personally, that's kind of my favorite. I'm not sure why, but there's just something about the flap here that could really use a beam cannon. And technically, you can put them on all of those hardpoints. So if you're going to buy a lot of these backpack systems, well, you can put beam cannons all over your Lightning Gundam. And of course, we also get the shield. And the cool thing is, this shield actually combines with the shield we've got here. Pull this out, there we go. Now let's see, this one was supposed to go like that. And this thing clicks on like that. Now instead of two small shields, we have one giant shield. Just gotta put that back on there. There we go. You know, a very Zeta-esque mobile suit. A very Zeta-esque shield, I meant. And now, of course, the final thing to do is to transform this beast, because without the lightning pack, it just couldn't do it. With everything separated, let's get on with it. So the arms go up, and it's probably also kind of important to mention that it's not a parts former. Surprise, surprise, it's not that complicated of a transformation. But hey, not even the hands have to be removed, so that is kind of surprising. Just fold them up, make sure that everything here is nice and snug. There we go. The legs, a transformation that is very, very familiar, but it is cool the way this knee piece acts. Gotta extend it and kind of lock it into place. Go. The toe goes down. Like I said, overall a very simple transformation, and technically this is supposed to go on top, but because of how flappy my front skirts have become, I kind of prefer to tug them underneath so they don't go flapping around in all directions. Let's lock there we go. And now all that's left to do is get this lined up. So these pegs here go into the arms, and then you just gotta make sure that the head doesn't go anywhere funky. And by that I mean, just be careful you don't break the damn V-fin. In it goes. And that goes, there we go. Straighten everything out. And then just got to line this up. That goes to the front. As always, be careful about the V-fin. There we go. That's how it should be. And that's slightly less impressive. It seems like that's really a shame. Well, now when I hold it like this, it doesn't have any problems. And the good thing is, the action base does go up his butt. So when you're holding it like this, there aren't any real problems. Yeah, it does seem to stay up quite perfectly when you hold it like this, but when you hold it like this, for some reason, the back doesn't really want to stay up. So there we go. Then all that's left is to add the beam rifle to it. See, you got two pegs here, just peg it in there, and there we go. That's the full transformation according to the manual. But that, of course, still leaves us with these two beam cannons. And even though the manual doesn't tell us to do it, they still fit perfectly on the shoulders. That's the second one. There we go. Not sure why the manual doesn't really mention it. Maybe because they're not exactly horizontal with the wings, but you know, you can never have too much firepower going on your mobile suit. So overall, well, the transformation is your typical bulky transformation. It's not super jet looking. There are definitely better transformations out there, but you know, it's just kinda the average stuff we've gotten used to. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? Well, this thingy here retails for 800 yen, which means that the complete package with the Lightning Gundam goes for 2,400 yen. And when you compare it to the Rigazi, a very, very similar mobile suit that retails for 2,800 yen, the deal you're getting here isn't bad if you're going to buy it as a package. And other similar mobile suits such as the Delta Plus, which goes for 2,200 yen, and then the Zeta Plus C1, which goes for 2,400 yen, the same price. So when you compare it to those kinds of mobile suits, the price is pretty solid in that category. And I think that especially the 400 yen, that it's cheaper than the Rigazi, is very telling, because you are kind of getting the same kind of stuff with extra compatibility with other mobile suits. And another reason to get this thing is, well, I was actually very surprised that this thing is a pretty nice fighter in its own right. Now, another reason to get this would be to attach it to another mobile suit, but in all honesty, when attached to another mobile suit, it doesn't really offer a lot. It has some extra missiles on there, it has a bit of extra thrust, but if you're going to attach to another mobile suit, there are probably much better options, unless you really want to make another mobile suit quote-unquote transformable. Because, yeah, with the transformation, with the fantastic transformation this thing has, you can kinda make any mobile suit transformable. Kinda. Yeah, that's not really doing it now, is it? But as for the Lightning Gundam goes, this backpack is really nice on it, and it's actually very functional in its own right. So 2,400 yen might still be a bit expensive when compared to some other mobile suits that also come with backpacks, but for what it is, compared to other Zeta-style mobile suits, the price seems to be about right. It's not a great deal, it's not a bad deal, it's a solid deal. Unfortunately, that might also mean that you're better off waiting for the full burn-in pack, the Mark II. As I said, this pack doesn't really add a lot to other mobile suits, but that also means it doesn't really add a lot to this machine other than the transformation. So unless you are really a big fan of transformations, you're not going to get a whole lot of use out of the pack, and it doesn't really add a lot of bulk, it doesn't really add a lot of weapons. I mean, you get to do beam cannons, but other than that, the full burn-in pack definitely looks like it's going to add a lot more in terms of thruster, in terms of overall design, and in terms of overall performance increase. So with that in mind, I cannot give full approval of this thing considering what its successor is going to be. And if you're gonna have to pick up one from the looks of it, I would go for the full burn-in pack. Also because at the end of the day, this still looks like something that was glued onto the lightning gun, because, you know, the entire design of it is still like something that's just hanging on there. Finally, for some size comparisons, and since I've already mentioned them, here are the Delta Plus and the Zeta Plus A1. As you can see, very similar if you disregard the color scheme. And let's also compare them to the standard size Gym Custom and the ever so bulky Zaku 3. As I said, the backpack doesn't really add a lot of bulk either. Well, that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.